welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a foundation review and wear test, and I am going to be doing a first impression on the Fenty Beauty. This is the Ease Drop Blurring Skin Tint. Am I the last person to probably try this foundation? Yes, but it's been on my list for a while. It has all the things that I like in a skin tint. So in today's video, I'm gonna be pulling you in closer, talking about the details while I apply this foundation, doing a check-in around half my day outside in natural daylight, inserting in some swatches, and then coming back at my end of the day and giving you my final thoughts on this foundation, if I think it's worth it, if it lives up to its claims. So if that sounds good to you, if you like foundation videos, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love it if you stuck around, but with all that, I'm gonna pull you in closer and we're gonna get started. All right, so if you're new to one of my foundation reviews, I never do primer on my wear tests just to see like a good baseline of the foundation for when I wear it more later in the future. Today, I just wanna see what just the foundation does. Now, as far as my skin type and my preferences, I do have normal leaning kind of dry skin. I will get oily in my T-zone. I do like get the occasional breakout, but not too much. We'll see how much that covers today. But I prefer a light medium coverage. So this is right up my alley here, which is why I was interested in picking it up. And I prefer like a natural finish. I really dislike just an overly glowy finish. That is not for me. So now let's get into the foundation here. I picked up the shade 6, and this has a little bit more than 1 fluid ounce, has 1.08 fluid ounces. It retails for $36 and comes in 25 shades, which I don't think is terrible. We're gonna see if shade 6 works for me. But like I said, this has all the trigger words for me. It's light coverage. It's supposed to be a natural finish. It's supposed to be for all skin types. So this hopefully is a winner. I've heard good things about this foundation. It says to shake well. And I just have never gotten around to trying it. So I figured if I was gonna try it, I might as well do it on camera and do a first wear test. If you're also like me and just haven't tried this and are looking at reviews. So I'm gonna put a few drops, kind of squeeze it here on the back of my hand. I did get quite the tan when I was gone for a while, but it is pretty liquidy, and it does say the best way to apply this is either with fingers or a brush. So I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna do fingers on one side, brush on another. I'm just gonna, I think, get started here. This is supposed to have a really blurring finish. It's supposed to be transfer proof, sweat proof, humidity proof, all those fancy words to basically say it's not gonna slide off your face. Normally to me, that kind of tells me it's gonna be a little bit more matte, which is fine as long as it's not a dry, cakey matte. But so far, so good. I really am not like a finger applier, but I do have to say I probably prefer using my fingers over a brush. The finger side though, it does look quite blurred on my pores. I would say, you know, pores is kind of one of my more concerning areas, enlarged pores around my cheek here. I'm gonna now go in with my brush and just see how this works. And then I thought it was interesting as well when I was looking up the information on this. It says it pairs well with all skincare and primer. So I'll definitely be testing that out once I try this a little bit more. Today's just a first impression wear test, kind of see what this foundation can do. But it actually matches pretty well. And I would say, it's light coverage, a little bit more than light coverage. It's definitely not a sheer coverage. It's not that kind of skin tint. It's giving coverage, but it is on the fuller coverage side of light. I still wouldn't put it in the light to medium category. It does look natural on the skin, not overly glowy, overly matte. Really no complaints so far. I think, just gonna go over it with my sponge. Sponge is my preferred method, and it's just a habit that is hard for me to break, and it'll kind of just pick up any excess product. So in the future, I will probably try using my fingers to apply this and then going over it with my sponge. That would be the most ideal if it doesn't look good with the sponge. But I definitely like adding a little bit of moisture and just picking up and blending out as much as I can. But here's what it's looking like. I think it looks pretty good, actually. It covered my kind of middle of my eyebrows breakout more than I was expecting. I was expecting it to be a little bit more red and noticeable. I mean, it didn't get rid of the texture on it, but my cheeks look really good, actually, more than I was anticipating. So overall, really nice. No complaints so far. I think now I'm just going to go off camera, apply the rest of my makeup, let this sit a little bit, and come back, show you the finished look. Rest of my makeup is on. I try to keep things on the lighter side. So because the finish is looking pretty natural, not overly glowy, I didn't powder my face other than my concealer and then just a little bit in my T-zone just to kind of keep the oils at bay. But I didn't want it to look too dry and cakey. And then I used powder products like bronzer, blush, highlight to kind of set my cheek area rather than a cream. Everything that I'm wearing is always listed in the description box below, but primarily it's my Shop My Stash items. So I'm really liking how this is looking. If this wears well and is actually transfer proof, sweat proof, humidity proof, this could easily get to like a top 3 foundation if it looks like this or wears down naturally. I'm really enjoying the finish of this, how lightweight it feels, how natural it looks without, you know, I'm wearing makeup, but it's not a full beat of makeup. So I'm really impressed so far. Fingers crossed this just kind of continues down this pathway. But it is, what time is it? It is about 10 a.m. now. So I'm gonna continue on about my day, and in 4 hours, I will check in with you all outside in natural daylight. All right, it's been 4 hours. I am outside in natural daylight, and the skin tint's looking really, really good. It is a little bit shiny in my T-zone, but that's pretty typical for me. It's not overly shiny. It's not really greasy. It just looks like I've been wearing this for a little while now. But after that, like, it hasn't moved. It looks the same. My pores still look blurred. This is looking really nice. And I've been outside. It's a pretty hot day today. Pretty much for the entire 4 hours. I even took a nap outside, which of course was for science, to just test the foundation and make sure it lasted in the sun. It definitely was not for napping purposes, but it held up all throughout that. It stayed on my glasses, like there's no marks from it. So I'm pretty pleased right now with how this is looking. We'll see what the next 4 hours brings, see if it breaks apart, but I don't think it's going to. I think it's gonna be like a top foundation for me. Very happy that I finally tried this now that the hype has like died down and the new foundation's out, but better late than never. So I'm gonna insert in swatches right now, gonna keep this short, and I will see you at the end of the day to just talk about my final thoughts. It's now the end of the night. It's been 9 hours since I applied this foundation. And I have to say, I love this. I like this quite a bit. I'm thoroughly impressed. Other than just looking shiny, I have zero complaints, none. So I am gonna just try and just touch this up on my chin. I do zero touch-ups, so I can really see what the foundation looks like. This is one just after a couple hours, you'll have to touch up, but I can't even complain about that because the foundation hasn't moved at all. It's only the finish that's changed. This is definitely transfer proof. I will agree with that. It's also just sweat proof. I was outside pretty much the entire day and it's quite hot. So for only being this oily, thoroughly impressed by this foundation skin tint. I'm a little late to the game on trying this foundation. They've already launched the foundation stick, the Ease Drop stick, and then I think they just launched a new foundation as well, like the soft, light foundation, kind of like a more dewy foundation. So I'm like 2 foundations behind on Fenty Beauty, and originally, part of me wanted to do a foundation battle between the Ease Drop Original and the Ease Drop Stick. I don't even want to do that anymore. All of my just wants, like my curiosity for those other 2 foundations, went out the window after trying this. One of the best foundations I've tried in quite some time. I'm very, very happy with this to continue using it. You know, my complexion products on my cheek faded a little bit, but for 9 hours, this looks really good. I can't speak like if you have more acne prone skin, if you have more redness, like how this would look, but for my skin, it just looks so natural, so lightweight. I have zero bad things to say about this other than just the application. So I will be testing that out, seeing if I can use my makeup sponge because that's just how I like to apply it. But I actually have a feeling that that's not going to look as good. I think that using a makeup sponge, I could see why maybe that's not the best, that it would make it too sheer and give it a little bit more glow. It won't give you that blurring property that this really provides. So I'm just going to have to get over that because this finished product here is worth using a brush for or your fingers. I can say that. I will continue testing this foundation, just seeing if I can make it better or seeing if there's any ways to not use this, trying it with different primers, etc. And then once I have a few foundations, I always come back and do a foundation roundup. But there's like no improving this for not wearing any kind of primer, for not touching this up, for it being 8 hours. I cannot believe that it wore so well. I mean, I took a nap outside. I was working outside. I really did a lot today. I didn't just sit inside behind a desk. So I'm overall just really, really pleased by this. Nothing bad to say. It completely follows every single claim that it says that it's going to, as far as buildability, blurring, transfer proof, etc. So I'm just gonna stop raving on and on about this. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Do you already know how great this foundation is? Am I really just that late to the game? I did know that this had overall positive reviews. A lot of people I've seen talk about this, so I'm not surprised I like it, just that I really love it. Very much recommend. I can see it being good for all skin types, just having to tweak like little things here and there, like I didn't powder today other than just my T-zone. So maybe if you're a little bit more oily, powdering it a little bit more, using a moisturizing primer if you have dry skin. I can really see this being a staple foundation for a lot of people, and it's now going to be a staple foundation for me. So let me know your thoughts on this down below if you've tried it, your skin type, etc. But this is where I'm going to leave you all. I hope the swatches were helpful. This video was helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.